Delarite, my MVVs, welcome. My world has ended. Ebony allegedly wept so much over this alliance between Adetutu and the Great Lion. Now, she was devastated, more than devastated over what has happened. Let me give you the history of, this whole thing is all political. Now, you have to settle in to understand what I want to say right now, okay? Now, Ebony is devastated that, Ile Abife Lola is gaining full access right now to the Great Lion. Now, do you know that you remember that Ile Abife Lola is another door in the Lafogidi, it's another door of the Ogidigba dynasty, right? Now, Ile Abife Lola is another door, and that door happens to be where Adetutu's mother comes from. Meanwhile, Adetutu is from a rolling home called, Ogburu or Ogoru. That is where Adetutu comes from, because that is where her father comes from. Now, why is Ebony so devastated over this? They say, Abife Lola, they have been a very serious enemy to the Orinkola. So, they are right. Ile Abefe Lola is as in fighting Ile Orokitan big time. They don't see each other eye to eye. They've had dispute that has lasted over 15 years right now. As in, the dispute has got to do with a cocoa plantation. One of the biggest in Ile-Ife, that as in they have metric tons of cocoa from that plantation, and that plantation they said belonged to Ile Abefe Lola, but Ile Orokitan also have a plantation that is close to that plantation, and they now took a chunk, as in a big part of the plantation from Ile Abefe Lola. We don't know, of course, you know that I am not from there, so I don't know which people are at fault, but they are fighting. I mean, Ile Abefe Lola, their children, the ones abroad, and they are training them through that cocoa plantation. And they have that land that they are fighting for is the biggest, like it's so huge, as in they have timber, they have everything on that land, and they've been fighting that fight for over 50 years. They have gone to court, asked them to go back and settle. That case has been in the Udua traditional court. So I'm going to give you detail of that plantation on the next video. That's not what we are talking about. So Ebony has been crying, and she said her own wall is over. Why is she crying that her wall is over? Simple, because right now Adetutu's alliance with the Great Lion means that Ile Abefe Lola, they have come closer to the ruling family. And it's not something that they would have wanted at all. And so that is why Ebony is crying. Now, Ogburu, they have the rolling house that is called Ogburu too. Is it Ogburu or Ogboru or Ogburu? They are already in noun, because that is where Adetutu is coming from. So you see, this is not a win-win for Ebony. Now, when they went initially to go and send emissaries to ask for Adetutu's hand in marriage, she said she wanted some time. Ebony, they started, and they were very happy because they thought it wasn't going to work. Yeah, so they thought it was not going to work. As we are hearing, if the information is correct, they said there were lots of manipulations here and there because they never wanted that thing to work. No, they never wanted it to work. As we are hearing, they say they manipulated this, the whole thing spiritually, diabolically, to ensure that, Adetutu doesn't come in. But Adetutu is a priestess. And these priestesses, they know their way. Like traditionally, they know how to protect themselves. They know what to do. They know cleansing. They know, and Adetutu is not just a priestess that is claiming to be a priestess. Adetutu is a real priestess. Adetutu is a real priestess that sees, that knows everything. And they said that happens to be the reason why whatever had been done to ensure that that alliance does not happen, whatever had been done to ensure that her union with the great lion does not happen, okay, did not work. Because there were times where we heard that Adetutu had warned Ebony to stay clear from her path, that whatever Ebony is doing, Ebony should stay away. That if Ebony tries anything, if Ebony comes close to her, that she was going to ruin Ebony. Now, they said, at that time, they said Adetutu went and met Ebony in a sitting area in the palace to warn Ebony. But Adetutu did not discuss why she was warning Ebony, that day. A lot of people thought that it was something that had to do with the jewel. But it was later that news started flying that somebody did something against Adetutu herself, okay? And Adetutu knew that it was coming from Ebony, like they were doing something to separate her, keep her away from the great lion. Now, Adetutu is the one who is doing a lot of those traditional things that Ebony used to do. Those things that used to make Ebony very, very important in the palace are the things that Adetutu have been handling, okay? Even as it concerns the jewel, it's been Adetutu handling all of those things. And you know that naturally, such a person will not be happy. So when that thing happened, they said that that mess was coming from Ebony's family, trying to diabolically, like as in trying to push Adetutu out, okay? They said that was what that warning was all about. Now, Ebony wept so much because Adetutu now has said yes, that she wants to do it. She is ready to go into that marriage, okay? Apparently, she has weighed all her options. She has seen everything. And she has been in the palace now for about 4 months, right? Yeah, she has seen everything that is going on. She understands a lot going on. I think she has weighed the whole thing spiritually, and she feels like it's something that she can deal with. And naturally, a lot of them who are priestesses, they are drawn back home because they feel like that is where their everything is, okay? And so coming back home will be something that will be sweet. And getting married to the great lion doesn't mean that you necessarily have to come and stay home, except you want to, right? And so she said yes, and they have gone, and they said Bonnie wept so much that her own is finished. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged rumors, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.